I just wanna die. That's what I wanna do. I wanna die. That's what I wanna do. I wanna crash out right now and just like this like life. I swear to God.
YK Osiris' 2013 trip to Jamaica has long been rumored to have been financed by Diddy, and to this day, YK has never publicly denied these allegations. Now, nearly 12 years later, YK Osiris is finally revealing the full story. And what he's sharing might shock you. Diddy appears to be a major reason why Osiris wants to leave the industry altogether. Dark secrets, hidden recordings, and shocking truths are coming to light, revealing a side of the industry most people never see. Even 50 Cent couldn't have predicted what Diddy allegedly did to YK Osiris during their secret trip.
He tell him the story.
Tell him the story. So we talking about rumors, right?
Yeah.
And we, when you Google his name, there's a rumor that pops up that he was Diddy's boy toy.
Oh shit!
Right.
Wait, so this is
so Charlamagne said
it's not true, but I told after he brought up this stuff with you, I said, you know what 50 gonna say when he meets you?
Oh no, I don't know that was going on.
You know,
I can't wait to run into him again.
What you gonna say to him, Phil?
Puffy was playing with your booty in Miami. You know it was in Miami. Yo, look, that's what James Cruz used to say all the time. Miami. He's like, Miami. I'm like, what's the matter? What you talking about, Miami? What happened in Miami?
Play the audio. Play the audio.
Yeah, I'm missing 50.
Back in 2013, YK Osiris started posting about a trip to Jamaica, claiming he was having the time of his life drinking in pools, receiving massages, and living it up at a luxury resort. Coincidentally, Diddy was also in Jamaica at the same time, though he kept a low profile and didn't post anything about his trip. What's more startling is that just weeks before this lavish getaway, YK was crying live on Instagram, talking about selling everything he owned due to financial struggles.
Yes, man, I sold my Lamborghini, I sold my Rolls Royce, I sold my Cadillacs. Yes, sir, ski. Yes, sir, ski. Ride that thing. Hey, I'm about to beat that charge. Man, what the fuck? I ain't gonna lie. This thing humble yourself. I ain't gonna cap to you. I got a floss for you, nigga. God, I ain't got a floss for you, man. If y'all gonna think what y'all wanna think. If I do got it, don't got it. Y'all gonna think what y'all wanna think. I love this hunt deal.
Throughout the trip, YK Osiris kept tagging Diddy and mentioning him in stories and posts. How does someone who claims to be broke one week suddenly find themselves partying at a 5-star resort? Fans began to piece together the puzzle. One fan commented, "I knew it was a man who sponsored the trip because I didn't see any women or family around." Another added, "Remember when it was just Diddy and YK in Jamaica? Diddy's the type to fly you out." But rumors have swirled that YK let Diddy use him to pay off his loans. From early in his career, YK's been caught up in debt. There's a reason why he didn't hide his connection to Diddy during that trip. It all looks like a humiliation ritual. Diddy wanted people to see what he was doing to YK. This isn't the first time YK has been forced to humiliate himself on social media.
They always want you to, you know what these rappers, all these singers, all these big rappers y'all look up to? They always tell you what the good part about, but they never tell you what the bad part. And that's crazy, man. Yeah, they got all this money, but they dealing with emo spirits. They dealing with killing themselves. They dealing with, man, come on, man. Like, dude, like, y'all don't understand, my nigga. Stop saying that it's a God blessing. This is not from God. This is not from God. Business, and I'll be honest with you, bro. I want to get out this music industry because this is not for me. But I do it because I feed my family. But I don't want to be in this. This is not what God want me to do. God don't want me to do this, but I do it to feed my family. I want to get out this. I want to get out of the music industry because yes, you go through pain. You go through this because this is what the devil wants you to go through to destroy yourself. The devil wants you to go through this to destroy yourself. But y'all wouldn't understand because y'all not really, some of y'all, I understand that y'all not really hooked on to it, but this is not what the God wants you to do.
Digging deeper, Drake's name surfaces too. Drake publicly humiliated YK on Instagram by exposing his debt and forcing him to perform and sing about his financial struggles. Fans noticed how Drake even got YK's tattoo of his album cover on his leg and styled his haircut after Drake's Certified Lover Boy album. A grown man branded with another man's name. These acts of humiliation raise serious questions about whether this was all just a coincidence or something darker.
I'm not young. You fought.
I ain't gonna hold you no more. I ain't gonna hold you no more.
You owe me 60 bands, and you have to perform the song right now in the crib. What are we talking about? What are you talking about? I'm giving you an out. I'm not Baby. I'm not Boosie. You don't owe me no 2 rags, 5 rags. You owe me 60 bands. I'm playing the song right now. You ready? I need a full. You won't owe me no money right now. I swear. I need a full performance though. The real shit though. I'm serious.
You just gotta be ready. Oh, again.
Following these events, YK broke down in tears, saying Drake no longer talks to him and has cut ties. Were YK's actions all motivated by money? Many fans believe Diddy exploited his youth and naivety, manipulating him for his own gain. They pray for YK's safety, recognizing his genuine spirit and believing that God will protect him. His supporters hope the truth will eventually come out and set him free.
Y'all keep using that Drake shit, huh? Drake don't fuck with me either. Me and Drake don't talk. Me and the baby don't talk. Nobody in YK Osiris. Nobody, so don't keep using that with me. Like, you can't keep using that. Like, stop. Like, we don't talk. The baby don't fuck with me no more. Drake don't fuck with me no more. And nobody fucks with Osiris. So why the f I keep living? Like, I'm trying to tell y'all not getting it. Like, so you tell me why should I keep living? I don't get it. Like, why y'all saying like y'all would tell me all the time, but I'm giving y'all explanations like why should
You struggling? You struggling? With them push-ups.
This situation echoes what Hollywood insider Terrence Howard has spoken about, how the industry is dark and corrupt, often forcing artists to sell their integrity and manhood for fame and money. Howard has revealed that those who accept these deals can never truly escape the trauma, and what's the point of success if it comes at the cost of respect?
You got to take drugs. You're going through so much shit to try and deal with life. You are literally, it's an unhealthy space. And so eventually you're going to go too far, you know? Who knows what happened to Philip? Who knows what he had to do in order to get to where he was at? There's a lot of things that people do that end up sitting and they can't get over it. And they got to keep getting high, hoping to get it out of their head, you know? But when you lose your man card, that's the only thing I can think of. You lose your damn man card.
What is that? What do you mean by that?
You give up your ability, your right to being a man. A man don't take it, a man gives it. So when you give up that man card, you don't get that back.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
No, I'm saying what I'm saying. You don't get that back. You come into this world as a man one time. You give up that right for anything, for fear of being hurt, fear of somebody doing something, for wanting to gain something. When you give up that man card right, you lose some spiritual energy that has always been pushing through. Like if a woman gives up her womanly right of being a mother and taking care of her family and do all those things, when you give up those things, but when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Got punked out and pimped out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being a man. So I believe that's a big problem with a lot of the actors out there, because they get fluid. And next thing you know, once you go fluid, it's gone. You don't have any foundation to pull yourself back from. So maintain your man card.
Young stars like Justin Bieber, Usher, and Aaron Carter have also fallen victim to this predatory system. Groomed, used, and abused, many of these artists struggle with the aftermath, turning to drugs and alcohol to cope. That's why so many leave the industry early. Justin, YK Osiris, and others have distanced themselves from the industry's dark side, seeking safety and sanity.
You see some guys struggling with that. You see Bieber struggling with that. You see some of these guys struggling with that.
They can't get it out of their head. They can't get it out of their head. The things that they did, no matter how they did it, whether they were drunk or high or whatever, you gave up your man card. You need therapy. And that's the thing that hurts them the most. And so they end up on drugs, end up every way to try and get rid of any principles there are. And that's what the business does. And the women that trade their bodies to go and get the role, they get to the point where they have their Oscar, they have their money, but they don't have their dream. They don't have the soul that they started with. So it's like achieving don't mean anything. If I get all the Nobel Prizes from doing all of this, but in the process I have to trade out all of my integrity to do it so that they can stay in place, what benefit is that if I lose my integrity? You got to go in as a principal. And what we were brought in here as men. We produce 1,500 sperm per heartbeat for a reason, because the aggression is necessary. You don't trade that in, no matter what.
It's a familiar story. YK initially denied the allegations, and now Justin Bieber is speaking out, admitting to the shame and trauma they endured. The guilt and memories of what they were forced to do eat away at them, revealing a pattern of silence and suffering within the industry.
Justin Bieber breaking his silence on the ordeal after months of speculation over their one-time relationship. His rep telling ET, although Justin is not among Sean Combs' victims, there are individuals who were genuinely harmed by him. Shifting focus away from this reality detracts from the justice these victims rightfully deserve. Bieber's questionable connection to Diddy piquing interest online as the rap mogul's indictment for sex trafficking and racketeering charges, which he denies, made headlines. Old clips of the two hanging out while Justin was underage resurfacing.
Let's just go get some girls. Let's go get some girls.
Man after my heart, that's what I'm talking about. We hit him like this, so me and you walking, we hanging out, a little later on the night after the Usher concert.
There's also this old Jimmy Kimmel Live segment, adding to fan fears about what might have gone down with Diddy.
Got me a Lamborghini.
Oh, well, that's nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
When is that coming, that Lamborghini? We talked about this last time.
He had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house, and he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
Oh, apparently not.
Everything ain't for everybody.
This all comes as Bieber's followers are worried for him, the singer's erratic social media posts causing concern week after week, the Beliebers asking if what he's seen behind the scenes of the industry.
Don Richard, a member of Diddy's former music group Danny Kane, testified in Diddy's recent trial, alleging she was sexually assaulted by Diddy during her time working under him. She described how Diddy would ask her to strip down during rehearsals, smack her on the butt, and conduct meetings while only in his underwear, a disturbing account of harassment and abuse.
Richard joined Combs' group Diddy Dirty Money after Danny Kane disbanded. While on the stand, she told jurors that she saw Combs hit Ventura with a skillet full of eggs at his Los Angeles home in 2009. Richard testified per NBC News. He came downstairs asking where his phone was, and he threw her to the ground. He attempted to kick her. She fell to the ground and went into the fetal position, literally trying to hide her head. In addition to striking Ventura with the skillet, Richard said Combs put his arm around the singer's neck and took her upstairs before she heard glass breaking. Richard added, "I was scared for her. I was scared to do anything." Richard's testimony in Combs' ongoing trial comes 8 months after she accused the rapper in a lawsuit of subjecting her to years of inhumane working conditions, which included groping, assault, and false imprisonment. The lawsuit, filed in September, obtained by E! News, stated, Mr. Combs frequently held meetings with Ms. Richard wearing only his underwear, despite Ms. Richard's protests and repeated requests for him to put on clothing. In her filing, the 41-year-old also alleged that Combs ordered her to strip down to her underwear, made demeaning remarks about her body, and entered her dressing room unannounced while she was unclothed and touched her without her permission.
Lead defense attorney Mark Agnifilo is cross-examining Carrie Morgan. She's the former best friend of Cassie Ventura, who spent a lot of time with the couple when they were together between 2008 and 2018 when she stopped speaking with Cassie. Now, they just got into questions about an alleged 2018 attack where she says Diddy grabbed her by the throat from behind and, in her words, boomeranged a wooden hanger at her head. After the incident, she said she considered filing a lawsuit, but sat down having a conversation with Cassie, and it was her understanding, she testified, that she was going to be paid $30,000, which she accepted, in order to not go to the police, not file a lawsuit, and sign an NDA to not speak about it. Now, Agnifilo wanted to try to establish that the money came from Cassie, but on direct and on cross-examination, in answer to that question, Carrie said it was her understanding that that money was going through Cassie, but being paid to her by Diddy. Now, elsewhere in her testimony, she spoke to the jury about violence that she witnessed at the hands of Diddy and going toward Cassie. Specifically, certain events stuck out in her mind, like an incident in Jamaica where the girls said that they were scared and ended up hiding in a ditch for some time. She was also at Cassie's apartment after the 2016 Intercontinental hallway attack. She said that that police were called. She wasn't exactly sure who called them. She didn't remember that. Cassie testified that it was Morgan who did call police, but that Ventura was completely uncooperative with them, wouldn't answer their questions. But Morgan did say during her testimony on direct and on cross that the police who came to the scene were aware of Ventura's black eyes at the time because they had asked what happened, despite the fact that she would not answer.
Diddy has a long history of abusing those under his influence. In exchange for sexual favors, he would supposedly help individuals financially and advance their careers. YK Osiris was clearly in a vulnerable position, and Diddy knew it, allegedly exploiting him for his own pleasure and control.
On the stand, she said that guys would climax on her and she would take the cum and rub it on Diddy's nipples. Was this happening in your sessions?
Well, so it is an assumption, right? So, obviously with the veil, there was a very deliberate attempt to hide his identity.
Yeah.
So they never had any interactions or even any outward conversation in my presence. So there was a routine where sometimes we'll be right in the middle of sex and he'll just stand up and walk out of the room. And she would take that cue and she would follow him out. So I did recognize, and I mentioned it in my book, that it became a habit that we're having sex on couches with sheets. We started in towels. I would climax, but she would specifically leave the room without wiping herself, without doing anything to take care of the whatever I left on her. So I assumed that's when he popped up, because once I climbed up, he popped up, he left the room, she popped up, she followed him. So I'm assuming that's when the lathering, whatever went on, happened at that point.
Okay, so at what point did he stop wearing a veil?
It was shortly after. The way that I ended up finding out who he was and they were, because they're obviously in conjunction with each other, about the fifth time, we were in a hotel called the Essex House. And when I would arrive for the sessions, I would be waiting around a couple of hours. So in this specific time, they put me into an extra room in the hotel suite. And to kill time, I decided to watch TV. And this specific hotel had a welcome message, which was, so when I cut on the TV, it specifically said, Essex House would like to welcome Mr. Sean Combs.
Oh.
And I was like, whoa, like I was blown away, man.
Right.
One of Diddy's victims, Jane, submitted text messages as evidence in the trial. In these messages, Diddy is heard threatening her if she didn't comply with his demands. Despite her emotional distress, Diddy reportedly told her to keep going, showing a blatant lack of concern for her well-being.
It's Diddy Day 19 and the drama is reaching a fever pitch here in this downtown Manhattan courtroom as one of Diddy's exes dropped new bombshells. Wiping away tears from her eyes, she testified she begged Diddy to stop the freak-offs, texting, "I'm not a porn star, I'm not an animal." A social media influencer and Diddy's girlfriend from 2021 to 2024, she used the pseudonym Jane on the stand. She alleged Diddy coerced her into days-long sex parties with male escorts. Text messages from 2023 introduced today in court reveal just how badly Jane wanted out. "I don't want to be used and locked in a room to perform and fulfill your fantasies. I'm coming to the realization of what this really is. My heart is really in this, and it's breaking. I don't want to play this role in your life anymore." In one of the more dramatic moments, Jane testified that when Cassie's 2023 lawsuit became public, she fainted. She said when she read 3 pages that echoed her own experience with Diddy, it, quote, felt like a nightmare.
Jane's testimony is emotional, but I also say naturally emotional. Sometimes you have witnesses who will testify and get emotional at awkward points in their testimony, but Jane seems very authentic, and that helps her credibility in terms of what she's testifying too.
ABC News legal contributor, attorney, and host of Bad Rap, the case against Diddy, Brian Buckmeyer was in the courtroom.
The Sean Combs of last week and the Sean Combs of this week does seem slightly different in his demeanor. He doesn't seem to be actively engaging in, let's say, body language or communication with the jury. It could be because of this witness, or that he knows they're on the verge of cross-examination, potentially starting tomorrow morning, so not as much vigorous head nodding.
Show out of Cassie right here, guys.
And there's more news about Diddy's freak-offs. Sean Deering, a male escort mentioned in court, is speaking with People about his time with Cassie at those sex parties. Sean said he was hired more than a dozen times, starting in late 2014 or early 2015, and the tone changed. I just would say overall, the tone was a little darker towards the last time I'd seen them. It was more of a doing this to please him type of spirit overall. I can tell when the energy was different.
Sean Diddy Combs' ex-girlfriend is giving more graphic and emotional testimony. The woman known to the jury as Jane is testifying about a pattern of being pressured into sex acts with multiple strangers while Combs watched. She's even testified to vomiting in the middle of one of these so-called hotel nights, saying Combs responded, "Good, you'll feel better now," and prompted her to continue. Combs has pleaded not guilty to all charges, and his defense team says any sexual encounters were consensual. ABC's Rena Roy and legal contributor and criminal defense attorney Shauna Lloyd are outside that courthouse with more. Rena, what's the latest?
Well, Diane, Jane has told the jury that whenever she tried to resist having sex with other men, that Sean Combs sort of had a pattern of behavior that included things like persistency and love bombing. At this point, the jury has seen a lot of text messages between Jane and Sean Combs. One where Jane says, "I'm not trying to have sex with strangers to fulfill your fetishes." And Combs tells her, "You got it all wrong."
The trial reveals that Diddy didn't act alone, he had a network supporting him. Christian Korm, his chief of staff, has been named as a co-conspirator. Evidence suggests Diddy paid bribes to cover up evidence of his misconduct, including deleting incriminating videos with the help of hotel security and others involved.
Christina Korm, please report to the front. But y'all know I reported the other day that Christina Korm was named as a co-conspirator in the Diddy trial. Y'all know me. I like to try to drop court doc evidence when I am talking about something, and I was finally able to find a piece of the transcript where they named Christina Korm as a co-conspirator, so let me show you. I'm absolutely shocked that a lot of the mainstream media are not covering this, because this is the first co-conspirator that has been confirmed by the federal government. Like, where y'all at? Government was actually playing this very funny. They were playing no games when they name dropped Christina Korm as a co-conspirator. They were arguing with Diddy's team about a text message that they wanted to show to the jury that Cassie Ventura sent to Christina Korm, talking about Brianna Bongolan being hung over the balcony. They were listing all of the reasons why they thought that this text message should be used as evidence to be shown to the jury. One of their many reasonings was because they thought that it was a state of mind evidence. They said it was important here to think that Miss Ventura is expressing fear of Mr. Combs to Christina Korm, who is an agent and a co-conspirator of Mr. Combs. It's not confirmed in court that Christina Korm will for sure testify against Diddy, but we can assume by the amount of evidence that they have on Christina Korm, including confiscating her cell phone that has evidence on it, that she's probably gonna flip. She will be given some type of deal if she does flip. That way she's not risking doing life in prison if Diddy goes down for RICO. Because if one goes down, the whole enterprise that you're connected to goes down unless you start speaking up.
Eddie Garcia, the hotel security supervisor, testified that Diddy and Christian Korm pressured him into signing an NDA related to the assault on Cassie. Garcia revealed that Diddy and his team attempted to erase video footage of the incident, offering him $100,000 in exchange for destroying the tape.
Today, the jurors in his trial heard from a former security supervisor at that hotel. His name is Eddie Garcia, and he testified that not long after the attack happened, Diddy's chief of staff, Christina Korm, called him to ask for the footage. He said that he told her no on the phone, and again when she showed up in the lobby, said he told her no again. But that night, Garcia testified, Christina Korm called him again, and this time she handed the phone to Diddy. Garcia told the jury in Combs' federal trial that Puff said if that video ever got out, it would ruin his career. He testified that Diddy promised to, quote, take care of him if he could only find a way to get that video. And so, Eddie Garcia, who was promised immunity to tell the truth in court, reached out to his boss, who agreed to sell the video for $50,000. And the following day, Garcia brought a USB drive with that video to a meeting he said included Diddy, that chief of staff, Christina Coram, and one of Diddy's bodyguards. But before handing over that little USB stick, Garcia said he told Diddy he was worried. He was concerned he might be implicated in a crime if Cassie Ventura ever called the police and complained. At which point, according to Garcia, Diddy had a plan. FaceTimed Cassie and ordered her to, quote, tell him you wanted this too, Cassie. A freshly beaten up Cassie was there on the FaceTime wearing a hoodie and complied with Diddy's demand, Eddie testified. He then said he signed a contract swearing that no other copy of the video existed and swearing him to silence with $1 million penalty if he ever spoke of what he saw or of what he did, i.e. the payoff. In return, Garcia says he was handed a bag containing $100,000, double the amount that Garcia's boss had asked for.
For the Sean Combs trial, his defense attorneys asked the judge to declare a mistrial in a late-night filing alleging prosecutorial misconduct. Chief Investigative Correspondent Aaron Katursky at the courthouse. Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning to you, George. Federal prosecutors, according to the defense, knowingly introduced false testimony that Sean Combs dangled a woman from a 17th floor balcony. It was Brianna Bongolan, a friend of Cassie Ventura, who told the jury that he lifted me up, then put me on top of the rail before throwing her onto furniture. The jury saw photos of a large bruise and her bandaged back. Combs denied it happened, and the defense argued hotel receipts show he was in New York at the time. The judge, though, is unlikely to grant the mistrial, and a fifth week of testimony is going to begin here this morning with Combs' ex-girlfriend, known by the pseudonym Jane, back on the witness stand. She's already tearfully told the jury grueling details of degrading sex with male prostitutes and how she feared if she stopped, Combs would stop paying her rent. Combs denies it all, says all the sex was consensual, and guys...
From YK Osiris to Justin Bieber, from industry insiders to victims testifying in court, more voices are emerging, exposing the industry's darkest secrets. What happened in Jamaica was never just a vacation, it was a warning sign of a system that preys on the vulnerable, humiliates them publicly, and discards them once they're broken. The truth is starting to surface, and Diddy's empire may be crumbling. The question remains, how many more stories are out there, and when will the industry finally stop turning a blind eye? Stay tuned, stay questioning. And if you want more stories the mainstream won't tell, like, comment, and subscribe.